Good afternoon. Welcome to this session. In today's session, we'll be talking about second unit, that is marginal costing. When you look at marginal costing, it is one of the techniques of costing what we have seen in cost accounting. So what is marginal costing? Even before going to learn what is marginal costing, let us first understand what is marginal cost. What do you mean by marginal cost? I'll take a simple example. Assume that for producing 100 units, I have spent 1000 rupees. Okay, for producing 100 units, the total cost incurred is 1000 rupees. 100 units, total cost is 1000 rupees. When I produce 101 units, okay, my total cost is 1020 rupees. Now, can you tell me what is the difference in the quantity and what is the difference in the cost? I'll repeat. For 100 units, I have spent 1000 rupees. For 100 units, total cost is 1000. For producing 101 unit, so 101 units, the total cost is, okay, let's say it is 1006 rupees. 1006 rupees. Now look at the quantity. What was the quantity? 100. It went up to 101 units. The total cost previously was 1000. Now it is 1006 rupees. What is the difference in the total cost? 6 rupees. And what is the difference in the quantity?
1 unit.
1 unit. So you should understand that to produce 1 unit extra, additional 1 unit, what is the change in the total cost? What is the additional cost we are spending? So to produce the 101st unit, I have spent 6 rupees. The 6 rupees is what is called as marginal cost. Is this clear? The additional cost incurred for producing an additional unit of output is what is called as marginal cost. So the change in the total cost due to change in the output by 1 unit is called as marginal cost. In my example, the total cost increased from 1000 to 1006 rupees. So the change is 6 rupees. And this has happened because the quantity has changed from 100 to 101 units. So the change in the total cost is 6 because of change in the quantity by 1 unit. So the 6 rupees in my example is what is called as marginal cost. Is this clear, guys? Now, what is marginal costing? Now, when you look at this marginal costing, it's a technique of costing where the total cost is bifurcated into 2 parts, variable cost and fixed cost. Sir, what do you mean by variable cost and what do you mean by fixed cost? Now, let us understand this. Look, I take the example of the factory rent. My factory rent, when in the first month, assume that there is no production at all. My factory rent is 10,000 rupees. There is no production, right? But my factory rent is 10,000. I have to pay 10,000, correct? Second month, I have produced 1000 units. Second month, I have produced 1000 units. Still, I will be paying the rent of 10,000 only. In the third month, assume that my output is 10,000 units. My third month rent will be still rupees 10,000 only. I give you 3 situations. In my first month, 0 output, the rent is 10,000. In the second month, 1000 units is the output, rent is 10,000. In the third month, my output is 10,000 units, my rent is still 10,000. Now try to understand.
Fixed cost, sir.
Pardon? It is
Fixed cost, sir.
It is fixed cost, exactly. So when my output is increasing, my total rent, the rent amount is not going up. It is not proportionate to the output. As my output increases, no, fixed cost is remaining constant. My output decreases, fixed cost remains constant. So the cost which is constant in total is what is referred to as fixed cost. The cost which remains constant irrespective of the change in the level of output is what is referred to as fixed cost. Is this okay? So at any level of output, the total fixed cost remains unchanged. Now, let us move to another example. Assume that to make 1 unit, I require 10 rupees of material. Okay, let's assume that I am manufacturing these pens and assume that this pen requires 10 rupees of material, like whatever plastic is used here or whatever steel parts are used in this making of this pen. Assume that the cost of material for 1 unit. To make 1 unit, I require 10 rupees. Now, let us go back to my 3 months output. In my first month, the output was 0. Now, how much material cost you have incurred in the first month? Answer will be 0. Why? The 10 rupees for 1 unit into 0 units. Is this clear? Go to my second month. In the second month, my output was 1000 units. So 1000 units and each unit of pen requires 10 rupees of material. Therefore, my material cost will be 1000 units into 10 rupees each. That makes it 10,000. Is that okay? Go to third month. What happened in the third month? My third month output is 10,000 units. For each unit of pen, I require 10 rupees material. So 10,000 units of pens multiplied by 10 rupees each makes it 1 lakh. Now look at the total raw material cost. The total raw material cost when the output is 0 is equal to 0. The total raw material cost when the output is 1000 units is equal to 10,000. The total raw material cost when the output is 10,000 units is 1 lakh rupees. What do you observe this? What do you observe here? As my output is increasing, the total raw material cost is also increasing. Okay, if I reduce the output, my total raw material cost also will reduce. So what a relationship you find here? How is it related to the output? The material cost is directly proportionate to the output. When your output is increasing, total raw material cost increasing. When the output is decreasing, total raw material cost is decreasing. So what kind of relation we can say? The material cost is directly proportionate to the output. Hence, it is changing according to the output. So this cost is what is called as variable cost. Are the 2 points clear for you guys? Fixed cost and variable cost. And remember, I spoke only in total. Total fixed cost remains constant. Total variable cost is directly proportionate to the output. Is this okay? Now, let us understand it in some other way. Can you just tell me what will happen to the per unit variable cost? Per unit variable cost. Go back to my example. I said 1 pen requires 10 rupees of material. So if I have to make 1 pen, I require 10 rupees of material. Good. If I go to, and in my 3 months example, where my first month output is 0, so 0 material cost. Second month, 1000 units of pens were made, 10,000 was the total cost. In that case, what is the cost per pen or per unit you can say? It is 10 rupees only. Go to the third month where I have produced 10,000 units. When I am producing 10,000 units, I am spending 1 lakh rupees towards material. But what is the cost per pen? Cost of raw material per pen? Again, it is 10 rupees. What I want to tell you guys is total variable cost is directly proportionate to your output, but not per unit variable cost. Per unit variable cost remains constant. Is this point clear for all of you? The per unit variable cost remains constant. Total variable cost will change according to the change in the level of output. Come to fixed cost. Total fixed cost remains constant, but per unit fixed cost, can anyone tell me what will happen to the per unit fixed cost? My factory rent is 10,000 rupees. So when I produce 100 units or say 1000 units, 10,000 divided by 1000, it's equal to 10 rupees per unit. But when I'm producing 10,000 units, it is 10,000 rupees factory rent divided by 10,000 units. So for each unit, how much we are spending? It is 1 rupee. What is happening? What is happening? You can observe that the fixed cost in total is constant. However, the fixed cost per unit is indirectly, means it is not directly proportionate, it is inversely proportionate. So when your output is increasing, per unit fixed cost is decreasing. When the output is decreasing, per unit fixed cost is going up. Guys, quickly answer me. Total variable cost. Answer. I'll give you options. Total variable cost will change or it will remain fixed?
It'll keep changing according to the output.
Good. Total fixed cost.
It is constant.
It's constant. Per unit variable cost.
Fixed, sir.
That is also, don't say fixed again, we'll get confused. Constant.
It's constant.
Yeah. Per unit fixed cost.
It keeps changing, sir.
It keeps.
It is inversely.
Yes. For you guys, I want you to understand, or I want you to remember only those things which do not change. Now you pick and tell me fixed cost and variable cost, how do we remember or what do we remember? Whenever we speak fixed cost, I want you to remember which remains constant. So whenever I say fixed cost, I will talk in terms of total fixed cost or per unit fixed cost. I'm waiting for your answers. Whenever we are remembering the things, should we remember total fixed cost or per unit fixed cost?
Total, sir.
Total. See, if somebody is asking me, what is your factory rent? I will not say per unit 10 rupees, sir. Per unit 1 rupee, sir. Per unit 12 rupees, sir. I will not say that. When I say fixed cost, I say rent is 10,000 per month. That's it. I will talk in total. It has no relationship with my output. But when somebody is asking you, what is the material cost? You should not say 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs. You should say material cost is 10 rupees per unit. Because in my example, each pen required 10 rupees material. So, two important points. Remember fixed cost always in total. Remember variable cost always in per unit. Is this okay? I'll proceed with this. Any questions you can ask me. Now, look at this. I have to go back to the marginal costing technique once again. What did you remember for marginal costing? There's one liner. Marginal costing is a technique of costing where the total cost is divided into variable cost and fixed cost. Is this okay? Now, come to the profit statement. Sales minus total cost gives you profit. Agree with me? Total sales minus total cost gives you profit. Yes. Now, this total cost is again divided into two parts, variable cost and fixed cost. So, can I say this equation like this? My total sales, let's say it is capital S, less my variable cost first, and then I'm deducting fixed cost. You can very clearly see here, from sales I'm deducting two types of costs. One is variable cost and then fixed cost. So I get profit. In between we are adding up a new word, contribution. Now These are the abbreviations I'll be using, guys. So let us have some uniformity in abbreviations. Whenever I use capital S, I'm talking about total sales. Whenever I am using small letter S, I'm talking about per unit selling price. Capital letter V stands for total variable cost. The small letter V stands for per unit variable cost. F I have used only in capital, total fixed cost. I have not used small f because I'm not going to use small f at all. I'm never going to talk fixed cost in per unit wise. That is meaningless for us. P, profit, can also be used in either way, capital P and small p, but small p is not important for us. Total profit is capital letter P. C, contribution per unit or total contribution. When I use capital letter C, it is total contribution. When I say small letter c, it is contribution per unit. Now, if somebody is asking you what is marginal costing equation, guys, what you will say? It is sales minus variable cost equals to contribution minus fixed cost makes a profit. So abbreviation wise, you can say S minus V is equal to C, C minus F is equal to P. Can I take it this way? S minus V minus F is equal to P. The minus F going the other side becomes plus F. So I can say S minus V, that is sales minus variable cost, is contribution. Also, fixed cost plus profit is also equal to contribution. Is the marginal costing equation clear? All of you? Then, the next thing we have is income statement under absorption costing and marginal costing. Guys, you have studied cost sheet in your cost accounting. Hope you remember the cost sheet. The cost sheet starts with what? Direct material consumed, direct labor, direct expenses, gives you prime cost, then add factory overheads, gives you works cost, then add administration overheads, gives you cost of production, then add opening finished goods, deduct closing finished goods, you get cost of goods sold, then add selling and distribution overheads, you get cost of sales, then you add profit, you get total sales. The same thing, if you can see here, this is how we present it. You can see on your screen the income statement under absorption costing. This is nothing but what you have studied in your cost sheet. The cost sheet is prepared as per absorption costing. Sir, what is absorption costing? Just now I told you what is marginal costing. Then what is absorption costing? Have you seen the word absorb? It is absorbing everything. It absorbs everything. What is the marginal costing? The technique where the total cost is divided into two parts. Correct, guys? The technique where the total cost is divided into two parts. What are the two parts? Variable cost and fixed cost. But if I don't distinguish it into two parts, then it is absorption costing. It is as simple as it is. Under absorption costing, there is no bifurcation of total cost into fixed and variable. But under marginal costing, the total cost is bifurcated into two parts. One is fixed cost, the other one is variable cost. When such bifurcation is not there, it is absorption costing. Then, when you have to find out the profit or loss under these two statements, sales, from that you deduct cost of sales or total cost, you get profit. You can see the last line here, sales minus total cost is equal to profit. What is sales? The first line. Sales is like number of units sold at per unit. What is cost of sales? When you look at the cost of sales, you can see direct material, direct labor, direct expenses, the manufacturing expenses, that is overheads, what you call, administrative expenses, what you called as overheads. So you can see direct, direct, direct. Remember, direct means variable. Direct means variable. So whenever I say direct cost, it is variable cost. So it is all variable, variable, variable. Manufacturing overheads, whether it is variable or fixed. Administration overheads, whether it is variable or fixed. So we are taking the total cost. Except one cost which is taken later here. Can you see this? Selling and distribution expenses. Except selling and distribution expenses, rest of all the things are added. That gives you total. To that you add opening stock and deduct the closing stock. Then there is something called under absorption or over absorption of fixed overheads. This point you will understand when we are doing the numerical only, so don't worry about it. If it is under absorbed, we will add it. If it is over absorbed, we will deduct it. So some adjustment is required for fixed cost, and then we will add the selling and distribution overheads to get the total cost. So sales minus total cost gives you profit. We will be doing a numerical on this. Don't worry about it. Only point I want you to remember here is under absorption costing, there is no bifurcation of variable and fixed. Now, let us move to marginal costing. Under marginal costing, the total cost is divided into variable and fixed. Look at this. My sales is this. I take first variable cost only. I already told you direct means only variable. Direct material is nothing but variable cost. Direct labor is a variable cost. Direct expenses is a variable cost. Manufacturing overheads may I am taking variable portion only. Administrative expenses may also I am taking variable portion only. You can see here we are taking only variable portions. So when I take only the variable portions and then add opening stock and deduct the closing stock, later I will take selling and distribution expenses only variable only. So far only variable cost is included. That gives me the variable cost. So S is here, V is here. S minus V, that is sales minus variable cost, gives you contribution, you know that. And from contribution you deduct the fixed cost. The fixed cost could be from manufacturing, could be from administration, could be from selling and distribution. All the fixed cost is deducted, then you get profit. One thing what you should understand here is, under marginal costing, first variable cost is deducted. Fixed cost is not considered in valuation of stock. Valuation of closing stock may, fixed cost is not considered under marginal costing. Go back to absorption costing. You can see here fixed cost is considered here, fixed cost is considered here. That means it is considered for valuation of stock. But under marginal costing, you can see only variable costs are taken here. That means in stock valuation, we are considering only variable cost. That is why marginal costing is also called sometimes as variable costing. Is this okay for all of you? So quickly let us understand the differences between these two, marginal costing and variable costing. The difference between marginal costing and absorption costing. Under marginal costing, variable cost is apportioned, whereas in absorption costing, all the costs are apportioned. Product related cost, yes. Now one point, we have two costs here, variable cost and fixed cost. This is the question for you guys. Product cost means it will be included in the product. Period cost means it is not included in the product. Now according to you, which cost is the product cost and which cost is the period cost under marginal costing technique? I'm waiting for the answers. Under marginal costing, which cost is the product cost and which cost is the period cost? And let me tell you, variable cost is considered for valuation of stock. Fixed cost is not considered for valuation of stock. Based on this, you tell me which cost is product cost and which cost is periodic cost.
So variable cost is product cost.
Exactly. Variable cost is the product cost. So product related cost means it is like variable cost because it is becoming part of the product. Whereas fixed cost is called as a periodic cost because once the period is over, see this month rent is over, so next month rent again it will come. So this is another point in marginal costing. Whereas in absorption costing, fixed cost is included in the product also, right? Variable cost and fixed cost, you can see the overheads also divided into two parts. Whereas in absorption costing, it is based on the function like productions, administration, selling and distribution. Okay, if there is difference in the opening and closing stock, will this influence the per unit cost under marginal? The answer is no. But if there is a difference in the opening and closing stock, this will affect the per unit cost under absorption costing, right? These are some differences we should keep in mind. I will stop it here. I will continue with the numerical in the next session. Thank you all.